This is not new to the Fujifilm X100 series, but the WCL or wide angle conversion lens and the TCL teleconversion lens was made by Fujifilm quite a few years ago. And now Viltrox has decided to throw their hat in the ring and do the exact same thing. In today's video, I'm proud to introduce the new WCL for the Fujifilm X100 series. The 35mm, in my opinion, is one of the best focal lengths. It's super versatile, and you can really just use it in any scenario. Portraits, landscapes, documentary photos. You can do so much with one lens. And I think that's why the X100 series has done so well, because it gave us a really good all-around lens. Plus, it's really small. However, after years of shooting with one focal length, sometimes it can get stale, because the 35mm is great. Once you know it, and that just kind of doesn't ever go away. You've taught yourself how to use that 35mm, and sometimes it's good to step outside of those boundaries. I would say that the size of the WCL, both Fujifilm and Viltrox, are comparable to the Leica Q. They are not large in any way whatsoever, very easy to throw over your shoulder, and they're very lightweight, so you can't really tell much of a difference whenever you're carrying the camera until you try to stick it in a bag, and then you'll realize that it does have a little bit more girth and a little bit more weight to it, but not enough to sway you from not using one. You can always unscrew the WCL and throw it in the bag that it comes with, and it also comes with a lens cap and a back cap as well, and it will stay nice and protected in your bag if you're not using it. So that is a really good way of carrying this if you do want to keep everything minimal. Me personally, I just keep it on like 90% of the times. There's a few flaws to this, but not really, but kind of. With any lens hood or lens that you put on the X100 series cameras, you will notice that there's a bit of lens creep in there, so you start getting these shadows at the bottom of the frame if you're using the standard flash. So I highly recommend getting a Viltrox Spark or any other type of flash that can just go on top on the hot shoe for your X100, so you can avoid this problem if you're somebody that uses flash. I typically don't use a lot of flash, but it is nice if you are using flash. So as you can see right now, if I don't use the flash and I just use the one that's built into the camera with the TCL or the WCL, and it looks like this. So I'm seeing the flash itself. If I put this flash on there, you'll be able to see huge difference. Okay, there we go. Perfect. We can see. One other thing, if you like to shoot optically versus the EVF, it does show up just a little bit in the bottom right corner, as you would expect, but it's not that big of a deal. I usually shoot with two eyes open so I can see what's coming on both sides, and it is nice. I also don't use the optical viewfinder very often on this camera. The EVF has just done really great wonders for me and probably every other photographer out there. The autofocus has worked great for me. I've heard of some people in the past talking about their WCLs not performing as well, and maybe I shoot a little bit differently. Maybe I'm a little bit slower mentally and photographically, but I do think that it performs just like it typically does. I haven't noticed any difference in the performance of the autofocus. Personally, for me, I had the Leica Q series for years, and then the Q2, and jumping into the WCL whenever I first got the WCL that I got several years ago, it just felt like second nature to me. I knew how the 28mm worked, and it felt like a cheaper Leica Q or Q2 in my opinion. It does give you that really nice wider look with a decent shallower depth of field. But really, to me, what's the most important part about having something like this is that your compositions change drastically from how you would shoot with a 35mm. You can get the scene more, and you can tell such a better story, in my opinion, if you do have this attachment. And it's great that it is an attachment, and you don't have to leave it on there all the time. But if you are in a sticky situation and need to back up, but you physically cannot, having something like this is going to be really great. And also, it's going to challenge you to shoot differently, because you're going to have to get closer to your subjects, and you'll have to realize that you have to relearn composition with this lens. And to me, that's an exciting thing, is learning new tricks and finding out new ways to use your camera. Another thing that I absolutely love about the WCL and the TCL is the lens flares that it gives you. You have to be directed at the sun pretty good, but you do get those. The WCL from Fujifilm is a lot more clinical than this one. I do love character in lenses, so that is a huge plus for me, and probably for some of you guys out there as well. I would 100% recommend this lens to everybody that has an X100 series camera, because it just extends the ability for your camera to do other things. I know that we buy the X100 series for the fixed lens, but sometimes it gets just kind of boring, and you get, you know, gear acquisition syndrome, and you need something. This is what I would definitely get if you don't have a WCL of any type. I think it just elevates your photography and helps you see the world a little bit differently. With a price tag of $159 for the Viltrox versus the $400 price tag on the Fujifilm, I would highly recommend going Viltrox, especially if you're not necessarily convinced that you want one, but you kind of do. This is less than half the price. You could actually buy the TCL and the WCL from Viltrox for the price of one of the Fujifilm lenses, which is insane. And they're just both really great. You can have the 28mm, the 35 that comes on there, and then the 50mm. These are great lenses. Highly recommend getting both of them, honestly. But to me, the WCL really stands out because I do like to shoot wide, and I also like that photojournalistic documentary style, and I just like to get close to people and kind of be in the moment, and the WCL definitely does that for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was helpful. All of these images were shot on the WCL. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.